AITA for refusing to have anything to do with my son. So I-27M has been in a relationship with me current wife for around 3 years. This week my ex-28F texted me on Instagram saying that she had something to get off her chest. I asked my wife if it was okay for me to answer and she agreed. I asked her what it was and what she told me was basically one of the most shocking things I have ever heard. Apparently when we're together I had gotten her pregnant. I asked her if it was a joke because we did it once. She denied it, saying that I was the father. I went on her Insta page and saw pictures of her son. I decided to take a DNA test, just in case, since she cheated on me and her son could have easily been his, not mine. We got the results and I was indeed the father. I told her that I want no part in his life, and that we were over. I want to start a family with my wife, not make one with my ex. She called me a selfish asshole for not taking part in my own son's life. Her family has constantly been sending me threats because of this. I got a restraining order filed since she even tried to come in my house. I don't feel bad and I don't regret a thing, but I just wanna know, was I the asshole? Redditors reactions, story 2 after. Redditor 1, info: are you planning on contributing financially to support the child? Op answer: I am. I'll pay for anything he needs to make a good future for himself. Redditor 2, unpopular opinion, but NTA. Look, I get people wanna say, time equals consent to pregnancy, but I feel like there's a bit of a sell-by date on that. Not legally, mind you, but morally speaking. See, if you get pregnant and then duck off into the ether to have control of the situation to an exclusion, then, well, screw you. You've already made your decision about how much input you want from the father, and coming running back is pretty much always done because, I can't do this alone, I need support and money. And it just comes across as incredibly two-faced. Sucks for the kid, but we often suffer for the poor choices of our parents, and the boy's mother made her choices. Legally speaking, you may get sued for child support, and if so, that sucks a bit, but you should still pay for the sake of keeping your legal slate clean. However, son or not, your ex's essity actions kind of poisoned the well of fatherhood there. I don't see this situation as a moral obligation to step in, especially as the mother's demonstrated a history of subterfuge and clearly boundary stomping, if a restraining order was necessary. Redditor follow-up: Op already mentioned he was going to pay for the child, so I think he's in the clear now. If the kid's mom wanted a present father, the time to hit him up should have been when she found out she was pregnant, not 5 years later. If Op doesn't want a personal relationship with his son, he's within his rights to do that. Redditor 3, ESH. Why do a paternity test if you don't plan on being a parent to the kid? Poor kid. Between his mother, her family and you, he's not lucky. Redditor follow-up: to answer your question, it's the safest bet to make sure everyone is on the up and up. There are people willing to go the distance to lie that the baby belongs to the victim. This deception blatant is made to gouge living expenses or to lock down a relationship. Whatever the reason, it is always within the best interest that if you ever doubt the baby is yours, take the quickest and cheapest way to reassure yourself through a paternity test. Otherwise, there is a potential that you'll be taking care of someone else's baby and from a cheating affair. In this case, Op is covering himself as he should before taking the next steps. Had the result showed up negative and the baby was not his, it would have been an easy shut case and Op can just move on with his life. However, because the latter circumstance is not true and the baby is his, he is not obligated to be part of the child's life, but, and depending on his state laws, he will need to address how to provide for the child. Story 2, AITA, if I think doing a DNA paternity test on my kids is normal things. So me and friends was having a talk about family related things and thing was fine until I said I will always do a DNA paternity test on my kids, and most of my friends said it would be a shoal to pull that on your wife for no reason at all. And they said most women will feel betrayed if I did that without any evidence on her cheating or without any reason at all. I mean, it's not like I'm doing this because I'm in doubt that my partner is cheating on me or not. I just think it's a normal thing to do since my parents did it for all us, and even my mom told it's normal to do this. I haven't asked my GF opinion about this since we just only in a relationship not long ago and didn't have any plans or thinking about marriage and family stuff, but still AITA for doing this kind of things without any reason at all. Or I'm just a weird who think doing paternity test on your kid is a normal thing. Sorry for the bad English BTW. Redditors reactions, story 3 after. Redditor 1, that's definitely not normal. Redditor follow up, I wish I can upvote this 100x. I wouldn't say op is because it seems like he's just ignorant. But op needs to realize it's 1000% not normal. People do paternity tests on their children if they suspect their spouse is unfaithful. There is no other reasons. Honestly, your mom probably said it's normal to not explain she's been cheating on your father. Redditor 2, AITA. It is not normal to do a paternity test on your kids if you don't have any doubt about your spouse cheating. Your parents probably didn't tell you the whole truth. Redditor follow up, oh damn, some mess it might go down in his family soon if op pulls at this string. Redditor 3, AITA, but I'm saying this gently as I think assuming not a troll post that there's a story your parents need to tell you. They have set you up with a false sense of what is normal within a relationship, and there was clearly a lack of trust in their relationship. Your mother told you it was normal to make you feel better about it, not because it's normal. Story 3, AITA for not giving any support to my 2 sons' half-siblings when they have very little. I was married for 9 years to my ex-wife. We were childhood sweethearts who married out of high school and had 2 kids together. Then she got pregnant for a 3rd time, which came as a surprise. We were done with children. I had a vasectomy to ensure we wouldn't have more children. I went to my doctor who confirmed I could not have gotten her pregnant. She then confessed she'd been having an affair but didn't want our marriage to end. I told her I was not going to stay with her after she betrayed me, and I was not going to raise the child she made with another man. When we separated, she moved in with her child's father. When we divorced, she got engaged to him and popped out another child with him. I should mention I paid for a DNA test on her 3rd child just to be 100% sure, because I will never turn my back on my children. DNA proved her child was not mine. He left her high and dry with nothing. She had only a small family, her mom and her sister, and they helped her out. But a clear message was sent that I should step up and be a father to her other children. I said no way. Our sons together are now 11 and 10. Her other children are 4 and 2. Ex struggles financially and has pleaded with me to be a presence in her 2 younger children's lives repeatedly over the last few years. They don't actually have any active male adult figures in their lives, and I understand that she wants that for them, but I have no desire to be that. I choose not to think about those kids unless I have to, when I am going to be around them, to make sure I can at least not be a DCK. They are my boys' siblings after all. The older of the 2 is turning 5 soon, and I have been asked if I could buy some gifts and show up at a birthday party for her, the child. I have refused. I said it's on my ex. Now her mom and sister are coming after me for not stepping up, showing my boys what a real man and real father is. They say I am damaging my boys, ruining their childhoods and their future by not displaying true compassion and love by embracing their siblings. I have also been accused of causing a rift, because the boys call them half-siblings versus just siblings. They say I allow that divide to happen. They also say two innocent children have very little and see their brothers with so much more possessions, family, quality experiences, and while they are little now, the oldest is about to get to an age where this stuff starts to really stick. My ex heard about the exchange with her mom and sister and called me in a shoal for punishing her kids instead of her. AITA. Redditor's reactions, story 4 after. Redditor 1, NTA. She was unfaithful and now expects you to pick up the pieces. That's comical. Look after your biological sons and yourself. She got herself into this mess, no one else. Once your kids are older you can explain what happened and why things seemed different for their siblings. But for now you're being a great father to your kids. Redditor follow-up, what is it with cheaters wanting everyone to play happy families with their affair kids? Talk about having your cake and eating it too. Lots of stories on this sub of people in similar positions to op. They're all NTA. Redditor 2, NTA. Money you spend on kids that aren't yours is money you can't spend on your kids. This sucks for the two younger kids, who've done nothing wrong. But that's something their mother should have considered before cheating on you. She and her family should be harassing the younger kid's dad to step up, not you. Redditor follow-up, your first line was absolutely perfect. They're not your kids. It's not fair to take money from your kids to feed his. It's not fair for her kids, but life isn't fair and it's not up to you to make it so. A huge NTA. Redditor 3, NTA. It's not on you. They should go to your ex's dad for a male presence. He's related to them by blood. Redditor follow-up, I think her family are bullying you because they've known you since you were just a kid dating their kid. Time to tell them you're an adult who chose to have 2 children, and was responsible enough to get a vasectomy to make certain there were no accidental pregnancies. Their daughter chose to break apart your family, and put you through hell, and they have the audacity to lecture you. Tell them you consider this harassment and you will be blocking them. If they don't stop, the next step is a restraining order, and remind them that means they will not be allowed at any future school events of your children's that you attend. Tell them you will not tolerate abuse or harassment, and if they try to use your children to push this issue, you will lawyer up and take your wife to court. Story 4, AITA for not telling my wife I had a vasectomy. I've been married to my wife for 2 years now and she's always wanted to have a child with me. She mentions it often. I've even been trying to have one with her. The problem is that I've had a vasectomy and she doesn't know. My ex-wife came over and dropped off our 3 kids, 9, 5 and 4. And she's pregnant by her now husband. Well, her and my wife were talking about her new baby and if she knew the gender. Now my ex knows that I've been fixed as I did so after our youngest was born. Well, my wife says I can't wait to be pregnant. We've been trying to have a baby with no luck, but it will happen when God allows it. My ex just smiled and she then looked at me and I knew what she was thinking with the look she gave me. Later she texted me and told me I needed to tell my wife the truth and that she had baby fever and it was cruel to give her false hopes, and pretty much called me Australian dollars hole. So AITA. I know it's a little dishonest, but it would break my wife's heart to know the truth. Redditor's reactions, story 5 after. Redditor 1, I've even been trying to have one with her. And that's why AITA. Redditor follow-up. AITA. This is exactly why. So what? Every month, your wife tracks her ovulation, you two have S-time multiple times during the fertile window, and then you comfort her with maybe next month when she gets her period. With every passing month she doesn't get pregnant, you keep her hopes and dreams alive with lies. What type of selfish asshole are you? What are you going to do when after a year of trying, she goes to a specialist to see why she hasn't conceived? Refuse to go with her? Tell her the truth and let her choose the life and partner she wants. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's someone else. But she deserves to make an informed decision. Redditor 2, AITA, if you're not a troll, you sound like a sociopath trying to pretend you have emotions about this. Who the duck lies about being able to have children with someone they are married to and actively trying to have kids with? For 2 ducking years. Redditor follow-up, I know someone who contemplated getting a vasectomy and not telling his wife. After they were already married and knowing that she desperately wanted a baby. And yes, he is a sociopath. Redditor 3, AITA. Desire? 2. Have kids. Should be discussed before marriage. Why is this so hard for some people to grasp? Either this never came up because you and your wife somehow never talked about kids or birth control before getting married. Or one of those subjects did come up and you withheld the truth from your wife for some reason. Now, you are selfishly leading your wife on in order to preserve your relationship save face. You are in way too deep already, but every day longer you wait, you will only sink deeper. Redditor follow-up, he has stated he withheld the information in hopes she would be happy playing stepmom, and grow out of wanting her own children. This is almost the opposite of getting pregnant to trap a man. Holy cow. Story 5, AITA for not telling my family that I have a child. My wife 35F and I 36M live across the country from my family and we only visit for weddings, funerals and other big family-related events. Both my wife and I are deaf. I've never been close with anyone in my family, my grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, brother and father single dad, because they never bothered to look past my disability. Growing up they only did the bare minimum, fed me, clothed me, made small talk, but they never actually tried to get to know me or do anything beyond that. They didn't even learn sign language for me. I can talk and read lips, but I'm often left out of their conversations. They never bothered to get to know my wife either. They think that we're both stupid and incapable of anything just because we can't hear. We're in our 30s, and they still treat us like children. We hate it, especially my wife who has purposefully not visited them since 2017. I have a successful career, and so does my wife, and we've been completely on our own since college. We have a healthy bank account, we travel a lot and we're ready to buy a nice house, but we're waiting for the housing market to cool down. Despite all that, my family thinks that my wife's family takes care of us, i.e. help out financially, manage our finances and walk us through everyday tasks like buying groceries or paying bills. They just won't believe that we're intelligent and perfectly capable people who have done well for ourselves all on our own. My older brother is not deaf and he's very close with my whole family. He doesn't have his life together. He works odd jobs, he has unstable relationships and he regularly mooches off people. Yet my family still reveres him as a smart and capable person. He's a narcissist who has always treated me poorly, and my family enables his bad behavior. That's another reason I keep them at arm's length. I hope I've given enough context. So now on to the issue. My wife and I have a 2-year-old daughter. When my wife was pregnant, we decided that we didn't want any of my family in our daughter's life. It wouldn't be healthy for her to be around people who constantly disrespect her parents. And if she turned out deaf, they wouldn't treat her with respect either. No one in my family keeps in touch with me anyway, so I didn't see a reason to volunteer any information to them. So I never told them about my daughter. We keep her off social media, and I visited them only once since she was born, but she stayed home with my wife. My brother somehow found out about my daughter's existence a few weeks ago. The whole family is very upset. They blamed my wife because they think that she controls me, which is not true at all. They accused me of denying my daughter a family that could have helped raise her in many different ways. They may have a point. I'm starting to wonder if my wife and I are selfish for keeping our daughter from a big family full of cousins her age because we have our own hang-ups about them. AITA. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, NTA. They wouldn't be a family that could have helped raise her, but they'd try to take over since she is hearing and you aren't, and therefore incapable from their perspective. Keep your distance. Enjoy your life and your family and keep protecting your child from them. Answer. My wife said the same thing. I think that's a very good point. Thank you. Redditor 2, NTA. You're right about your family. Do you really want them convincing your child you are incapable before she knows the difference? Before she can know otherwise and tell them so? Redditor 3, they accused me of denying my daughter a family that could have helped raise her in many different ways. NTA, your family is ableist, and they would affect your daughter in a toxic way with it. Actually, I'm a little worried. From the way you described your family, they treat you and your wife as if you are incapable of discernment and of being legally autonomous. Your tale gave me bad vibes. Now that they know you have a daughter, I would take steps to protect her, like warning the kindergarten, daycare, and in future the school that they're not allowed to pick your daughter. Answer. Damn, that hasn't occurred to me. I wouldn't put it past a few family members to pull some stunts like that and possibly try to take some legal recourse to take her away from us. Redditor 4, NTA, I think you made the right decision, and they don't even seem worth keeping in contact with at all. I'm struggling to understand how they're so dense they don't realize you're a smart and capable person. Often I think people get the view that deaf people are mentally deficient because they never met any. But they have known you your whole life, and still don't get it. Even with the perfect comparison of your brother. Strange? Answer, it is strange. They've known me all my life, but they still didn't know me. They never bothered to have a conversation with me beyond house school. Keep up the good work. So they never got to find out how I think, my level of intelligence, and all that. They know that I'm good with my hands because I used to build stuff with my grandpa all the time, but they don't equate that to actual intelligence. When I was accepted into college, which was a pretty decent school but not Ivy League, they all asked me if I was sure I could hack it. They said that I got in because of affirmative action, and they were so sure I'd flunk out. When I graduated, my aunt made a comment about my brother or dad doing all my homework for me. She said she was joking, but I don't believe that. I think that my dad may have some idea of my intelligence and capabilities, but he never encouraged me or stood up for me. He's all about my brother. In his eyes, my brother is the abled one, so he would be the one to succeed and he'd be the one to make our little family look good. Funnily enough, the opposite happened. Growing up, he told me that I would always live with him, because I couldn't make it on my own, and I think that made me all the more determined to move out as soon as I graduated college. And my brother is 38 and he still lives with my dad. Everything they thought I would be, my brother became. Everything they thought my brother would be, I became. Life is funny sometimes. Redditor 5, NTA. You guys are the parents and get to decide who's in your daughter's life. Keep her away from people who might hurt her. But go no contact correctly this time. Op answer, I don't think that would be too hard. My wife is completely done with them and I think I am too.